I get a lot of game requests on this channel. I do look at all of them, even if most of them don't make too much sense. Why would I play an RTS or a JRPG on an FPS channel? And why would I make a video of a game I've already made a video of? Come on, there's a search option right there. But occasionally, someone recommends a game that has my complete curiosity, and it doesn't look too bad. That's where I find games like this. A Front Too Far, Normandy. Hey guys, Jarek here. This person recommended this game to me and described it as an open-world World War II shooter. Immediately I was curious because, as far as I know, that's never been done before. Even more curious is that this game is a single-person project being made in Unity. That's a tall order for one person to do. Now you might immediately be thinking, oh, that sounds like a World War II version of Far Cry. And you'd be right. No, not that one. No, not that one. Not that one either. Oh god, not that one. Yes, that one. This game has a very similar vibe to that of Far Cry 2. Not the complete loneliness the world wants to kill you vibe that you would expect. I mean, this is World War II, that would make sense. But more so just being completely alone, being able to do whatever objective you want to. Let me talk about the story first, put some context into the events happening. If you groaned when I said this game takes place during World War II, I don't think you really understand the problem, because the fact that World War II happened isn't really a bad thing. Wow, I need to rephrase that. World War II sucked. I meant the fact that World War II games exist is not a bad thing. The problem is that every World War II game was basically the same thing. You play as the heroic Americans marching on D-Day. That or you play as the Russians over on the Eastern Front. We've gotten a few games where you get to play as the heroic Americans fighting over in Asia, but still, there's not too much difference as far as the whole vibe of the game goes. They all play relatively the same. There was so much that happened during World War II that we just don't see. As much as I think Enemy Front is an awful, boring game, at least it was taking place somewhere different. That wasn't the Americans or the Russians again. And in this game, A Front Too Far, it's the same thing. You are in France, which is interesting enough. You still play as an American though. Just you, you're the only American there, helping the French resistance. I'm not sure why they couldn't have just let you play as part of that resistance. Probably an excuse to use some American weapons, which I guess is fine. Either way, it's interesting enough to catch my attention. Unfortunately, that's pretty much where the story starts and ends. You're basically just doing quests taken from different French resistance members, which, you know, I guess is fine. It's not exactly deep, but at the same time, this is made by a single person, and I don't know if I really want them trying to go full on in the story department. If they did, I don't think it would work too well, and I need to talk about the graphics. The fact that this was made by a single person in Unity really starts to show. When you launch the game, it'll pop up a little window telling you your resolution and if you want to change your controls, and then you launch in a game where you have very limited options. This is pretty much all you're getting, and if you hate the depth of field when you aim down sights, well, you can't turn it off. Thankfully, it works pretty well and seems to not blur what you're looking at, but occasionally it can be a little annoying. My biggest complaint I had with the limited options though were just not being able to change my controls. This game has a backpack and looting mechanics. If you carry too much, you'll become over-encumbered, can't walk very fast, you'll have to drop some stuff. But this means that you're probably going to be carrying 4 or 5 weapons on you at any given moment. And you can't just press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to swap between them, you have to press tab, which will cycle through each and every weapon, where you have to watch the animation of him pulling it out, then pulling it away, and pulling out the next one. This understandably is not ideal when you have a bunch of different Germans shooting at you and you're trying to quickly pull out your SMG because they're closing in. Looping back to the graphics, it really shows that this was made by one person in Unity. Buildings will hover above the ground, you'll occasionally be able to see through them. Physics in the vehicles can be...
It's fine. Everything is okay.
Special. The AI is rather dumb, and the NPCs look, well, like this.
She's cross-eyed.
The voice acting is not done particularly great, nor is it recorded with very high mic quality. Now you understand why I said them making an in-depth story may not work too well. Good voice acting and good writing is difficult to come across, and if you're on a budget, it's probably not your priority. But I do have to give some credit here. Again, for a game made by one person with basically no budget in the Unity engine, it looks pretty good. It's never gonna look like a AAA or even AA title, but I mean, come on, cut them some slack. For what this is pretty decent. They even added a winter option that amused me to all hell. The first thing I did when I got into the rebel camp was notice the snowman sitting there. It seemed really out of place, so I walked over to him and it gave me a prompt. I pressed the use key and suddenly there was snow everywhere.
So, why is there a snowman? Snow. Oh, it's spreading snow everywhere. What? Hold up. Wait a moment. It's a magical snowman. What happened?
I didn't know how to turn this off, so most of the recording is going to be with snow all over the place. I personally think the game looks better without snow, but, you know, whatever. I mentioned a lot of negatives, but I need to talk about something that the game focused on above all else. Gameplay. The routine for this game is very similar to that of Far Cry 2, as I mentioned. You go to a rebel camp, you pick up one of their quests, you come back and get money to trade for better weapons, etc, etc. Perhaps you need to commandeer a German truck full of supplies and bring back to the base. Perhaps you need to lay a trap and assault a German patrol. Perhaps you need to assault a German base and take some of their weapons back, and more objectives like this. To the game's credit, it does try to introduce characters like, say, a German spy, which is kind of interesting, but again, with the low quality voice acting and whatnot, you're probably caring more about the gameplay. This is an open world game, and it does have the Far Cry 2 problem of trekking across large areas of nothingness to get to your objective, but the game does give you more vehicles than Far Cry 2 if you want to use them. More vehicles than Far Cry 2? Is that possible? Okay, it gives you just as many vehicles as Far Cry 2, but they're more useful. At least if you're using the motorcycle. If you're not, you're going to be doing a lot of flips.
I don't know what's happening.
Your reward for doing these objectives is getting money, which you can use to buy better weapons. Maybe not better weapons, but just different weapons. Of course, the usual German weapons are there, like, say, the MG42, the Kar 98, the Gewehr, the MP40, there's even an FG42, which is nice. And some of the American weapons are there, like the Grease Gun and the Thompson, but you also have some other interesting weapons. This does take place with the French Resistance, so you get stuff like the Lebel and the Moss 38. If more World War II games focused on different areas like the French Resistance and gave us different weapons like this, I would be a lot more interested in them. The gunplay doesn't have a free float reticle system like, say, Red Orchestra 2, but the recoil makes it feel like it does. I'm not really complaining about this, you will have to manage your recoil. I mean, you can see what's going on here. There is a lot of recoil. This is not a game where you can run and gun and be extremely mobile. You are going to have to pick your shots, and you need to going to watch where you are. If you run in the middle of a bunch of Germans, you're just going to die. Speaking of, since there is a backpack in this game, you carry more than weapons. You also carry ammo and health items. This is a game that will require you to manage your hunger and your health. Your health recharges faster when you're not hungry, and you can use bandages just to make your health top up immediately. You also have the chance of your wound getting infected or you getting sick, which there are items in game for that as well. Don't let this deter you from the game. This always sounds super daunting to me and I'm never really interested in those mechanics, but this is really not intrusive at all. You open your backpack, you use an item, and that's pretty much it. Your health doesn't drop super quickly or anything like that. It's not intrusive at all. In fact, becoming over-cucumbered is as intrusive as this game can get. That is to say, if you like cucumbers, it's not really intrusive. And that's pretty much it. This video might be shorter than I originally planned. Before I give you my final conclusion, let me tell you some cool stuff about my channel. Since the pandemic started, my peak viewing times has shifted to earlier in the day. Originally, they were around noon to 4 p.m. Now they're around 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also, 63% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. If you subscribe, that helps this channel immensely. Ever since the pandemic started, my pay has gone down a lot. So if you can help me get back to YouTube's algorithm, that would help me tremendously. I need to pay bills and rent, just like anyone else. Stay safe out there. The world is... Boy, I don't even want to go down that topic right now, but stay safe. Okay, A Front Too Far Normandy. What is my final thoughts on this game? Well, it's actually pretty impressive considering the fact that one person made this in Unity. For a single-man project, this game is honestly over-ambitious, yet it doesn't feel miserable to play. You could spend hours just kind of messing around in the open world. The guns are interesting, the scenery is different than what we usually see in a World War II game. Overall, if you want to check it out, it's only $6. Why not? Go look it up on Steam. If it has your curiosity, that's totally worth trying it out. Thank all you guys for watching this video. I had a good amount of you watching me over on Twitch when I streamed this. If you want to check me out in the future and come hang out, my Twitch is twitch.tv/Jerrick4GamingDragon. If you subscribe, you get to see my videos ahead of time. Thank all of you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.